Hello, Happy New Year, and thank you for joining me again on Run Level 0. This is my final episode for 2013, and I'm really looking forward to what 2014 has to offer. Thought I'd do my wrap-up for this year with an update on one of my favorite Linux distributions, Makulu Linux. I'm really glad I found this distribution. If you're not familiar with Makulu, it is a Debian-based distribution. And being based on Debian, you know that it's going to receive great support. It's going to be stable, well-tested, and well-implemented. This is a great up-and-coming distribution. I've been really happy to follow it. They do a great job with their KDE implementation, and this version 4.1 has gone through quite a few changes from its previous iteration. One of the strengths of Makulu, and one of the things I've been really pleased to see, is they really listen to their users. They really take the feedback they get from their followers seriously, and they do their best to implement them while still remaining true to who Makulu is. So they've struck a really nice balance there. What can we expect in version 4.1? Well, let's take a look at their blog, at the release notes. Let's see. They have added the wallpaper changer. That's the variety wallpaper changer. We're going to get into that in just a minute. That's a neat little application. They've added the daily quotes, which is a function of variety. They've added a new wallpaper selection. If you far less hippos now. That's cute. If you followed Makulu for a while, that you notice that Makulu takes it's a serious distribution. It has some great application choices, but they take a lighthearted approach to computing and to their desktop, which is actually quite refreshing. But if that's not your cup of tea, they are highly configurable, highly themable, and so you can make it look any way you want. And that's kind of a that's a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. That you'll notice that they have a hippo theme, and up to a few versions ago, that's all their wallpapers had a hippo kind of scheme behind it. So they've really come a long way, and they're offering a nice set, as you're going to see. They're offering a really nice set, a wide variety of wallpapers. Let's see. They've changed their desktop clock, added the GIMP, which is great to see. K3B replaces Nero Linux. One of the strengths of Makulu, in my opinion, is that they offer a out of the ordinary set of applications. They offer a lot of things that you don't see in many other applications, and one of those was Nero Linux. But you know what? I can really get behind their choice to go with K3B. K3B is a excellent optical media program for copying and burning disks. Because we are looking at the KDE edition, and K3B is a Qt based application, it's going to be a lot more compatible with this desktop environment than Nero Linux. So I think that was a very wise decision on their part. They fixed the device driver manager, which that's another great implementation in Makulu. They have a great driver manager. Made additional fixes to the news ticker. Home Run replaces Lancelot as the default menu. I like the Home Run menu. You don't see that very often. Made additional fixes to Flash. Updates on distro packages and apps to latest versions. Added panel option to easily update the repos, which we're going to take a peek at that. That's neat. Updated various icons throughout the distro, and they went through some optimizations and reduced the size and sped up the system. So let's dive right in and see what we get with this 4.1. Well, as we already have it open, let's take a peek at their homepage. The default web browser is Chromium, and I really appreciate Makulu's attention to detail. Their default web browser, you see they have Foxtab open, installed for you and configured with some thumbnails, some shortcuts. You can get the Makulu homepage, Makulu Linux help, and they even have a live chat which, you know what? Shame to say, I never noticed that before, but I'm glad to see it. So if you need help, you can sign in on their website live and chat with folks that can help you. They have a Gmail checker, Facebook shortcut here for your Facebook login, plugin for Chromium, a notification area. They just have so much going on here. You could explore this thing for a while. They've really polished this system quite a bit. And look at this. This is a beautiful implementation of KDE. Very easy on the eyes. One of the things that the release note says that they did some work on their ticker. This ticker, if you don't like it, you can remove it, but it gives you up-to-date news on your distribution, on Makulu. The thing that they fixed in previous iterations, when you paused it, when you moused over it, it would get out of sync. There would be a scroll going on behind it, and they have fixed that. The clock now is a beautiful digital clock instead of analog. On their desktop, of course, you have a shortcut to the home folder with a shortcut to their installation guide. We're going to take a peek at installation here in a minute because, you know what, folks? They have an excellent installer. And this installation guide, if you choose to install Makulu, this is where you're going to start. They have a shortcut to their YouTube video, and it has a in-depth, detailed video, an excellent video to take you step by step on how to install Linux, or how to install Makulu Linux rather, whether you want to use their simple installation or advanced installation. And we're going to take a peek at that installer in just a minute. These are the quotes that they were talking about that they've added to the desktop. Now, the desktop wallpaper and these quotes are both controlled by Variety, which is an interesting application, and it's here in your desktop panel. So we'll right-click that and go into Preferences. And in this control panel, you have the option to start or stop Variety, turn on or turn off. It's auto start, rather. You can set your wallpaper to change every hours, minutes, or days, or even seconds. You can have it really running through your wallpaper. But also this quote will rotate every hour, and that's under the Effects tab. And you can say Show Random Wise Quotes on the desktop. And that will change regularly as well. So you can uncheck that if you don't like it there, or leave it be. So let's take a peek at what we get. Of course, we have a traditional desktop layout, like we said, with a quick access to your home folder. You have one panel across the bottom in a traditional layout with your calendar and clock, battery monitor if applicable, most recent devices, your device manager here, your network manager, volume control with access to your mixer, clipboard manager, system update manager, and again Variety that we just looked at. Over on the left you have a shortcut to the Dolphin file manager, the Chromium web browser, console, which they've really done a good job at theming. Even their console, their terminal emulator here is very well themed. You have a software manager, which when we launch that, this is Mint install. They borrowed it from Linux Mint, and it is one of the more user-friendly. Oh, sorry, I'm put in the wrong password. Helps if I drop in the right password. But like I said, they borrowed this from Linux Mint, and Mint install is one of the more user-friendly, easy-to-use software managers out there. I'm really pleased with their choice to stay with this. This is the shortcut icon that was mentioned in the release notes. This icon, when you launch it and give it your password, the default username and password for the live version is Makulu. It's going to run an apt-get update for you right here. So if you don't, this is just a nice beginner-friendly touch that I really like. So if you want to try to install software, this is a good thing to run first, just to make sure that you have the latest updates in your repository. We'll let that finish. The home run menu. Now this is something, let me launch it, show you what we're talking about. This is something that may be a bit foreign to a new user. Don't let it scare you. This is a very nice icon-driven menu system. And the way that they have it themed here, everything you need access to is right here on one page, one menu at your fingertips. You can see that it is categorized. You have your favorite applications, and you can add things to favorites and remove it from favorites. So you have quick access to your file browser, web browser, console, software manager, the Synaptic Package Manager, which if you're a more advanced user and want finer control over your applications installation and removal, you can get that from here. Your system settings, the ticker feed reader, that's that ticker that was across the top of the screen, your device driver manager, and case sysguard. We're going to come back to this and see how much resources we're consuming in just a minute. But you also have quick access to your favorite places. All of your applications are again categorized, games and graphics. So we have a few games installed, including Play on Linux and Steam. Excellent choices. For graphics, there's the GIMP that they installed. You have your internet applications. We're not going to go through all the apps. You have multimedia, Audacious, there's K3B. They said that they installed it. VocoScreen, an excellent screencasting utility. Under Office, you have the Kingsoft Office Suite, which if you haven't used Kingsoft, try it. You'll love it. It is fully compatible with Microsoft Office. It is a great program. Then you have your settings and your system utilities, which they've included BleachBit, which folks just run it as root. Run both of them on a regular basis. Keep your system squeaky clean. Prevent any unneeded data from being on your computer. That's vitally important, folks, especially if you do shopping or banking online, paying bills. Run that stuff. Just keep those unnecessary files off your system, okay? And Wine is installed. Wine is a Windows emulator that if you have some Windows software that you would like to try to get running on Linux, you can do that here with Wine. Your utilities menu is below, and down at the very bottom you have your session and power controls. Home Run is also very much configurable, so if you want to tweak this in any way, you can actually add tabs. This is searchable, by the way, so you can search for applications here. But if you click on the little gear and hit Configure, now you can configure these menus any way you like. By clicking the little plus symbol, you can add a new tab. Let's call this My Tab. You can see it's named here. And you can add different, these are the different menu items that you can add. So if you wanted to, you can add the, let's see, installed applications by category. So click plus and it'll add it here. So click the wrench and end configure, and now we have a new type of menu. So, this is really very easily configurable. Let's take a look at that case sysguard and go to System Load. Right now, this is a KDE installation running 580 megabytes of RAM, and it's only drawing between 20 and 25% of my processor. You know what? And especially considering, so we have some good transparencies going on. There are some minimal visual effects already implemented. That's a pretty good implementation of KDE. That's right on par with that's very competitive as far as memory resources go. So this is an excellent installation of KDE, and I really like the polish that they've done with this Makulu 4.1. Let's take a peek at this installer though. I wanted to show this to you last time, so let's get that launched. It is going to ask you for your password, and you see this the Refracta installer, and you get the option of simple installation or expert installation. Now again, we're not going to go through a full installation here. I just want to show you a couple of the options that you have. because this is a great installer. But if you're a new user and you're going to install, use the install guide. Follow it step by step. You can't go wrong. Don't be afraid of it. So under Expert Installation, I want to show you a few of the options you have here. We're going to configure our locale, which I am in America. Click Forward. You're going to click your closest large city, which for me, that's going to be New York. I am in the Eastern Time Zone. Forward. This is what I really wanted to show you, was these installation options. There are some options here. Now, as a minimum, what I want you to do is select to change your username, and you're going to change your host name. This is going to give you the option to customize your system and make it more secure. If you don't choose these, it's going to keep the default configurations, and that's going to basically create some unacceptable vulnerabilities in your system, make it a lot easier for somebody to exploit or even hack your system. Okay, but what I really wanted to show you were your encryption options. You have the option of creating a separate home partition. If you want to, you can put your home files, there'll be these folders, on a separate partition. So if you ever have to reinstall your OS, you won't lose those files. You can also choose to encrypt your home partition if you want to. Now, if you choose to use Makulu in a school or even a small business environment, these next options would be really important for you, because in those environments, a lot of times, students will come and go, teachers will come and go, even employees will come and go, and you'll have to recycle those computers. So what you're going to want to do is wipe and load the computer to a baseline, but you want to protect the old user's data. You want to protect your proprietary business data. By encrypting those partitions, you make them a lot safer. And before you recycle the computers, you have the option of writing zeros to all partitions. It gives you an option to erase all the data that was previously on the computer. So that would minimize the risk of the next user or somebody else. If you're going to, say you have an old computer you're going to donate to a school, you can use this to help wipe out all that old data and make sure none of your more sensitive data is recovered by somebody you don't want to have it. You can even write random data to encrypted partitions. This has a lot going on here. And it is one of the better installers that I've seen. Not the most new user friendly as yet, but then again, the installation guide more than makes up for that. So be sure you use that. I'm really excited with the way that Makulu is going, and I'm glad to see that this 4.1, I'm glad to see the changes that they've implemented. So please download it, give it a try, let me know what you think. Again, this is Run Level 0. I am In It 0, wishing you a happy new year, and I hope to be with you soon for another video.